With mixed reviews at best and an unsatisfied audience, Still Wakes the Deep's developers' Chinese room find themselves saddled with an overwhelmingly mediocre wrap-up to a beloved cosmic horror game. Between bugs and a game riddled with hints of a rushed development, of course audiences are disappointed. What if it didn't have to be that way? Past and beyond the terrible story and the vapid experience and the awful wrap-up, deep within the game's world lies the heart of a truly brilliant cosmic horror experience that could have been. So I guess we'll have to brave the depths and dig it on up. Thank you to all the patrons who make this content possible. You're amazing human beings, and I love you all. Mwah. The DLC begins with great promise, introducing us to 3 new characters to explore the cosmic depths with. And the depths are where we are, trapped 187 meters below sea level in a diving bell, expected to explore the remaining wreck of the Beira D.
Hans, why don't we do the checklist before Rob's back?
Just a moment.
Once again, and I have to say this, the vocal cast and direction is simply sublime. Characters showing a very human level of banter and interaction that sets us up for a damn good time.
The pressure, it would lose all its integrity.
Oh, I am sure. I'll stick with my tea then, thanks.
Heading into the water for the first time and meeting up with Rob, we get our first glimpse of the terrifying Oops. Credit where it's due. This was the first and only time the game crashed. Not a clue what happened there. Something about the sheer scale and depth of the ocean and the lack of visibility in this area chills you to the core. It's a visceral, horrible experience that humans are really cued in to not like, and unfortunately this is what's going to end up carrying the whole experience. There's no other horror here. But hey, story! Mhairi's job was to conduct an investigation on the fatalities of the catastrophe, with a handy camera and various tools, acquiring various keepsakes of the crews to return to the families, while she tries to piece together the Beira D crew's final, terrifying moments. Well, at least that's what it says on the Steam page. It actually isn't that at all. She just kind of picks up objects, says, huh, and we get no additional backstory. We'll get to that. Bypassing hints that this world is in fact a simulation created to keep Azathoth in his endless slumber to prevent the end of reality, I love Eldritch horror! We receive a nice little bit of foreshadowing for the main antagonist of this DLC.
Christ, it's a bit tight.
Watch the umbilical doesn't snag or tangle.
Lack of oxygen! Okay, to be fair, there is a monster, but there's a lot wrong with it, and it's the last 10 minutes of the game, alright? Again, we will get to that. There's a fair bit to go through here. The first hint for our new group that something has gone very strangely wrong comes shortly after, with Mhairi reclaiming her lost umbilical and discovering the remains of some poor soul who was consumed by the Eldritch coral.
It's another body, but oh my god.
Mhairi?
It's been completely colonized, I guess, by some coral.
Oh.
Yeah.
The reaction to this, and the voice acting, was once again absolutely sublime. Heaven to the ears. But unfortunately, if you activate multiple triggers simultaneously for voiceovers, they will play simultaneously. This can happen for every single interaction, and quite often, at least for every playthrough I've seen, will always trigger at least once due to the way the triggers are laid out. Honestly, for something that is so obvious from the outset, something that is so completely wrong and so easily found, obviously easy to fix, seeing this in the final product caught me completely off guard, hinting a complete lack of QA for this experience. QA being quality assurance. It's a job description for someone who goes in, plays the game, tests it, and tries to find these issues. Anyone who would have played through this section, or the section I show here.
Any of your wrecks near an auxiliary exit?
Uh-oh.
Do you see something like that in the schematics?
Uh-oh. Guys! Would have found this undoubtedly, and it should have been fixed. It's bad. It is bad. Easy enough to patch out though. No doubt they will fix it fairly soon. Still, releasing a product with this?
Why?
Rob and Mhairi dismiss the coral finding, rationalizing it as sheer amount of hydrocarbons present in the water due to the catastrophe. And they push on until... Aye, your accent's coming on a wee bit strong there, lass. I'll close it. Oh. Oh my god! I thought I saw teeth! I'm just including this because it genuinely scared me. This whole setting, trapped underwater in an aging, collapsing rig that not so long ago was filled to the brim with terrifying cosmic entities, leaves the mind roiling and the heart racing. it was a concept that they wasted. It could have been used to such great effect. We learned some interesting nuggets of information about some crew members along the way, which would have been fascinating if half of this crew even appeared in the main game. The main antagonist of detaching our umbilical happens several more times before finally, Mhairi uncovers something surely surprising. There's air up here.
My God. Is this? This can't be. There's an air pocket.
What?
It's an entire room, maybe more. I wonder.
Still, we find something truly valuable to us. The data logger for the entire rig, which somehow was located in the one place that wasn't flooded underwater. How convenient! We also, put somewhere. Is this thing even waterproof? It didn't look like it, Barry! I think we just lost all the damn data! That's what you get for destroying evidence, Marjorie! It's hard to tell whether or not this segment is meant to imply that Mhairi was knocked unconscious, or whatever it was she breathed in that air pocket has left Eldritch influences in her mind. Possibly both, but it's beginning of the downfall of the story, unfortunately. We will return to this place later. Luckily for Mhairi, however, she wakes up in time to discover that her oxygen is running out and the air pocket is flooding, giving in to the eternal embrace of the deep. With no idea why that bit happened, no hint to any extra story, it was just a grassy plain, we run. Well, swim. And, fortunately for us, very bloody fortunately, to the point that completely beggars belief and stretches all imagination, she discovers a very handy natural tunnel that just happens to lead all the way out to a very handy unnatural pipe that just happens to be sitting there with a very loose little bit of metal that she can then break out of and escape.
Just falling down there.
Fortunately, I've been saying that a lot, huh? Mhairi escapes just in time to spot a flare slowly descending to the bottom of the trench where, to her surprise, the remainder of the rig lays decaying and abandoned. It's a brilliant moment, seeing the deep light up for the briefest of moments, triggering extreme feelings of thalassophobia and submechanophobia. Fortunately, Mhairi makes it just in time to the diving bell to tell the others what she discovered.
We need to descend.
Into the trench.
What are you on about?
It's right there.
What's right there?
The rest of the Beira D.
What? How deep?
Just a bit down. It's,
Mhairi, how deep?
I'd estimate 50 meters.
50 meters? Fucking hell. You didn't breathe any of that air, did you?
No, of course not.
Ha! Hans from Mission Control is against the exploration of the rest of the rig, though he is easily convinced with Marie's declaration that she simply must do it. So, we maneuver the diving bell to the appropriate location and set off.
A heavy door here, like the one at the entrance to admin.
Can you get into it?
No. Jesus, imagine being trapped on the other side.
Foreshadowing is a literary device in which...
It's more of the same from here, exploring the remainder of the rig, taking photos of the victims as we go until Rob contacts us via radio with a recording he managed to uncover from the waterlogged data logger.
I'm down here myself.
Get away from the edge! Guys! Get back!
Shivers, man. Oh, also, a reminder of how damned good the base game was. Depression, man. Mhairi finds another air pocket and shows her sublime overreaction skills when she drops 2 feet into the water. Get used to that, by the way. Every time you drop down into water, and you do it a few times in this little DLC, even though the game wants you to, she'll scream like she's going to her death every single time. More interestingly, though, is Mhairi discovering a piece of loot she had found already. A hint that she's losing her mind, perhaps. I mean, it's halfway through the game. It's about damn time something strange happens. By the way, it's never explained why this strange thing happens. We find poor Finlay's lighter, one of the best characters from the base game who had sadly misplaced her lighter at the start of it.
Christ, I need a smoke. Can I find my lighter anywhere?
Take mine. I don't need it anymore.
Seems this bastard pinched it and then got himself trapped. Look, it's a cool little reference, and the achievement for it hinted that it is Finley's. This is about as good a spot I think we can find to talk about one of the biggest issues with this DLC so far. Everything is so detached. It's been a year since many people either watched or played Base Still Wakes the Deep, so these memories and names are vague at best, if they even appeared in the main game at all. If there was a flash of a memory, maybe their voices playing in Mhairi's head due to the Eldritch spores she breathed in earlier to reconnect the neurons in our brains, to remind us of them. It would feel so much less pointless in the moment. Sadly, no such luck. And at the time, I never even remembered Finley, a disrespect to the absolute legend that she was. It didn't help that all the voices played over each other again, though.
Apparently
Oh my god. Oh my god! So we're 3/4 of the way through the DLC. The umbilical gets stuck again, and we have to disconnect for the final time to leave the oil rig and head back to the surface. The scariest thing that's happened so far was some rocks falling, and honestly, that in and of itself is an indication of it all falling apart. We've gotten to know Mhairi and Rob, albeit our interactions haven't given us much understanding for why they came down here or how they were connected to the crew. We haven't even gotten concrete acknowledgement of why they are down here, except to voyeur some corpses and find some keepsakes. Oh, also, as another kick to the teeth, if you go the wrong way, you just die. Why? No reason. Then, when you respawn, the damn umbilical, which had just disconnected, reconnects to you. Why? Don't know. Probably a bug. You see now why I surmise that this was rushed. There's no explanation for the instant death kill box. There's no explanation for why our torch just randomly breaks. So, with no explanation for anything, we meet up with Rob at the foreshadowing door, and he hands us some flares to keep us going, so we can hopefully find a way to escape.
This place is collapsing on me. I don't know what to do.
There's got to be something. A broken wall, a hole in the
The
ceiling.
torch keeps breaking. I can't even see. Rob!
I have a ton of these flares. Take them. Listen, you're going to find a gap. You're going to come out. We'll have 2 weeks in decompression, and you can force me to listen to simple lines and repeat if you like.
Once again, I do have to give major credits to the voice actors here and the writers. Rob's voice actor and the writing team did such a phenomenal job of depicting a professional under pressure, reassuring his colleague, sending her on her way to find another way out while calming her down from the panic that she had experienced, losing both her light and her oxygen supply. Oh, now we can go down this corridor, huh? Still, the umbilical is disconnected. We have no oxygen, no communications. We are on our own, trapped in a giant metal coffin that's slowly crushing it around us. Tension is rising and...
Black mauve pipe, that's what.
Holy shit. Is this part, like, are we going crazy? Are we being lured in by a creature? Rob did not give us an umbilical. We're not connected to one. Is there going to be a thing where we get out here and she's going to be like, oh wait, Rob can't talk to me?
Oh God, the umbilical?
Yes! Oh my god! That's exactly what it is! Uh-oh. There we go.
Shit!
Oh, what is that? It's so buggy! Open sesame! Open sesame! Open sesame! Fluffin' chills, man. They handled that entire section absolutely perfectly. And other than the ridiculously buggy monster, I can't even begin to criticize it. The terror, the sheer brilliance of having the monster communicate through us with Rob's voice, even although we were disconnected from the umbilical, the moment where the player clicks. Oh, beautiful. But we can't stop. And now, having escaped whatever that was, we are trapped in time. Is it a hallucination? Is it an effect of the Eldritch? We'll sadly never know, but we finally find out why Mhairi came down here. She was Brody's daughter.
Where are you? Why are you never where you're meant to be? No, no!
With the discovery of the memento of her father's passing, the world returns to its rotten state, and it's time to leave.
I have to get out of here.
Unfortunately, there's a wee beastie who doesn't want us to go. Oh, wait, no! God damn it. Now we're being forced away from story. I want to see what... Can I load? God, I hate games that do this. Not necessarily a failing only on this game's part, but having two paths that look identical, but one side is side content that contains story, and the other is an unskippable, unstoppable one-way trip into the next section with no way back. It's just poor game design, man! Not the item that we found had any hint or clue or story tied to it. It was a waste of time as well. Oh well. Let's go! We're out now. Swimming our way back to the diving bell to report our success to Rob and Hans, looking at the vast wreckage we successfully explored and, despite all efforts on its bastarding part, survived. We send into safety to find something is horribly amiss.
Where the hell are you?
Hans, what's going on? Rob's not in the bell. Where is he? Hans, are you there? Jesus! What the hell?
It's gone terribly wrong. What? How? We don't know, but Hans isn't responding. Rob is gone, and we are being hunted. Why we decided to leave the diving bell at all? I don't know. I'll never understand it. Sure, it was slowly flooding, but we can't return to the surface due to the inherent danger of being this deep. We don't have enough oxygen in our soup to find a pocket of air, and those pockets are toxic and unbreathable anyway. Honestly, our best opportunity here would probably to have stuck a straw up in the air pipe and go... But Mhairi, you do you. Let's progress. We've got a monster to dodge. Sneaking your way past, darting and diving between cover and shelter in a manner very reminiscent to Kaz's interaction with Gibble in the base game, we find something truly eldritch. Wow. Okay, I know in the grand scheme of things, this is incredibly minor. We've had major bugs, we've had annoying bugs, we've had obvious bugs. This lays in the final category. There's a few I haven't included here because I can't find them in the footage, but I remember them happening, like a big white box just sitting in the middle of the room, untextured. And the thing is, with bugs like this, is it's impossible that anyone who playtested this could have missed it. It's on the direct path of your playthrough. There's no way past it. It's an unmissable, unskippable section that any competent QA team would have discovered immediately, and this happens quite consistently throughout the game, which kinda hints to me that it's a rush development and severe crunch. With an issue that's this easy to fix, literally 5 minutes in the editor, it does hint that this is where the core of the issue of this DLC lay, with things being developed before the story was possibly finalized even, due to the speed that it had to be produced. I could well be wrong, obviously, but the evidence is everywhere at this point, with the enemy grabbing us shortly after, just proving it even further because they forgot to spawn the enemy grabbing you. How do you forget to spawn the enemy, guys? After kicking off the ghosts of the game's potential, we swim slowly towards a suspiciously illuminated door, with Mhairi speaking out her regrets.
I'm so sorry. I broke you into this. I should have.
And then, all the potential, all the good parts of this game that had existed, everything that could have been, all falls apart.
What the?
There she is.
Dad!
You found me. I knew you would. I just had to wait.
I had to get to you, I had to. I didn't expect this. Why bring me here?
Time for a diving lesson.
What?
What's the problem this time? The Flodagary fairies only come once a century to pull men under. No chance they'll come today.
Dad, what's going on?
The sea is full of strange and beautiful things, Mhairi. But if you see any such thing, you let it be. Just look from afar. No need to disturb their peace. Aye. Shh, don't worry. We'll dive together. I've got you. Just hold on to me. Just hold on. I've got you.
Oh, Dad.
Don't worry. We'll dive together. You let it be. What more could anyone need?
Why is the camera doing this? Why is it going back, 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 back? Everything's glitching. Hello? Hello? Did it break? Were we meant to be diving in the water? Okay, maybe this was just weird Eldritch time travel? Nah, because if you let go of his hand, if you choose the other option, it shows you the truth. It was all a goddamn dream, brought on by a lack of oxygen. Please forgive my language here, but once again, I find myself asking what the fuck the point in this DLC was. The base game of Still Wakes the Deep was the absolute best depiction of a human interaction with cosmic horror. Sure, the chase sections were somewhat gamified sometimes, with how you would throw things to distract the creatures and hide, but the horror, the design, and the feeling of helpless terror mixed with the perfect ending were peak. It was a very incredibly human experience, with the characters standing out in their own unique ways, all fighting their hardest to survive, to work together, and to make it out of the hellhole that they did not understand. The monsters retained some of their humanity, twisted into abominations beyond understanding, and chasing you down relentlessly for the sake of the coral, the shape. Nothing of that was in the DLC. What started off with an incredibly strong premise, being trapped underwater trying to discover what happened to the rig, simply turned into completely wasted potential, and if we're honest, was beyond massively disappointing. Over 3/4 of the game was spent exploring the wreck with very little hint of the Eldritch, no real horror beyond that of the natural surroundings, and while the engagement between Mhairi and Rob were great, there was literally no point to it. Little to no extra backstory was revealed to the player of any of the characters we fell in love with back in the base game. No clarification or extra story in regards to the catastrophe itself was uncovered. And worst of all, the only creature in the game had no personality, no connection to anything of the base game, no reason to exist, no story or lore revealed to it, and worst of all, might have literally just been a dream sequence that adds nothing to the experience. Adding on to this fact, the game was riddled through with bugs, both minor and abysmally critical. It really screams that this was a rushed development that wasn't created to add to the world of Still Wakes the Deep, or as a celebration for the game that so many people adored, but instead of as a cheap cash grab with very little substance that was rushed through development far too quickly to take advantage of Still Wakes the Deep's anniversary. And that is so goddamn disappointing. Chinese Room, I really hope you take my feedback to heart here. Don't take this as an insult. Take this as feedback. Respect and trust of an audience, especially one like the Eldritch horror community, is a valuable commodity. And if you spend it like this, you're going to need to claw as hard as you can to bring it back. What could you have done better? How could you have turned this from a flop into the celebration of the base game that it could have been? Well, I have some opinions. I am not a story writer. I am not a game developer, naturally. But I do have some opinions. To start, I think the intro of the game is genuinely damn near perfect. Other than the crash and the overlapping dialogue, the pacing of the first 30 minutes was brilliant. It was terrifying in a very human way. Additionally, the moment of the umbilical being detached and Rob still talking to us was also absolutely brilliant. I couldn't change that if I wanted to. You nailed it. The issues arise with everything else. Bugs aside, because all you needed was one good QA tester. Are you hiring? And another week of dead time, possibly slightly longer since there was a myriad of issues I found playing through the experience that I didn't show here. That was without turning on the QA brain. What we had was a complete breakdown of the story and attachment the characters could have had to the audience. Me personally, I'd have had the spore breathing scene happen much earlier. Something that connects Mhairi to the Eldritch, to the shape that causes her to hallucinate voices and events from the base game whenever she finds objects. It doesn't have to interrupt gameplay flow, it can just be flickers at the edge of the vision. Small hints of voices and talking in the background.
Got trapped in here. He died trying to claw his way out. Yeah, like apparently gets to a mother. This maze.
Well, only one woman on the crew.
Finlay? But the body looked male.
Maybe she lent it to him.
Christ, I need a smoke. Can't find my lighter anywhere.
Take mine. I don't need it anymore.
Tie these in. Give us an insight to the character's minds when she finds the objects to reveal more of their interactions and story. There's no fear of Mhairi reporting this. If you're thinking Mhairi would say that she's having hallucinations, not a chance in hell. She had a goal that she wasn't letting anything stand in the way of, and that was finding her father. So leaning more into that connection would have been excellent. It also would have given a lot more closure for the characters we saw and loved. Kaz's internal monologue, perhaps. Gibble's final moments before he finished turning. Muir, Rennick, Trotz, Finlay, and even the mysterious man who stole her lighter. With the way he was holding it, it seemed he had some regrets. So much potential to have these events flickering in Mhairi's mind when she finds the objects, caused by a connection to the coral, to the shape, a reflection of their final moments before their inevitable demise, to give us so much more in terms of character story and an insight into what the shape wanted or what the world was like, what caused this. In terms of the shape and the creature, I mean, what a disappointment all around. The fact that the creature had no personality and, bugs and jank aside, was frankly incredibly generic looking, with very little care or thought put into framing it so we could witness it better or interact with it. It leaves so much to be desired. Tie it into a unique ending of the story, something far more fulfilling than Mhairi breathed in some bad air and had a bad dream while suffocating, because that is complete arse. It's a slap in the face. Nah, instead, have the creature make noises throughout the game. Maybe not obviously Eldritch at first, but scraping and scratching on the hull. Maybe some movement of rocks, some flow of water as it swims past, as it seeks biomass or resources. Resources for what? Oh, well that is revealed towards the end of the game, when we find Brody's memento and we get to witness his final moments. Except instead of him drowning in the pontoon like we thought in the base game, the memory we get is incredibly recent. In fact, it's happening right now. A flash, a vision of a creature swimming through the ocean next to a nascent shape, a small remainder of the Eldritch monstrosity that damn near took everything with it. It's growing, it's pulsing, consuming biomass to expand, regain its influence, and once again attempt to grow. Unfortunately for Mhairi, this brief flicker of a connection to what remains of her father causes the creature, now confirmed to be Brody, to spin, locking onto her location and swimming forward with great speed, screeching out a torrent of unintelligible vocal thrums that barely translate to anything human due to the time it had spent transformed. Take that and make the experience the outro instead. Mhairi using the tools she was using to uncover the corpses and mementos, her plasma cutter and her crowbar, to leverage and break apart the last vestiges of the rig and crush the final remains of the shape and the creature under the corpse of his previous victim. Then play out the scene of Mhairi's choice, with her floating there, listening to the dying gasp of the monstrosity's roar, the oxygen meter floating up in the deep, red, and her vision slowly dying on her, the blackness being replaced with the park bench, the cliff edge, and the rig out in the distance. And then she has that conversation with her father, deciding whether or not to float into the abyss and become one with the shape, similar to what Kaz seemingly did. Or fight back long enough for Rob, the legend, to find us and rescue us, connecting his umbilical to ours and bringing us to safety. That, in my eyes, would have been perfect. It wraps up the story in a satisfying way, gives Mhairi closure, albeit a dark one, and gives us more of a connection to the monster instead of it being a vague, empty presence. It removes the whole "it was a dream" bullshit and gives us much more of an insight to the running of the rig, the crew's final moments, or other hints for the world as a whole. As it is, Siren's Rest, to me, at least, was an empty, vapid experience. It was cheap, being £10, discounted to £8.50 when I played it, but honestly, I can't recommend it, or even say it was worth the time as it stands. Chinese Room, what you did with Still Wakes the Deep stands as one of the greatest Eldritch horror content of all time, and I hope you take the criticism coming the DLC's way. All we can do as a rabid audience is hope that we take it to heart and push forward, because other than the bug patches and fixes for issues that the players have to find for them because of a lack of QA, I can't see them taking the time to fix the issues with the story and experience otherwise.